Did you ever happen to train with Paul Anderson? Because he used that same hole-in-the-ground technique for squats and good
Paul Anderson?
Yeah.
I knew Paul Anderson when he was the heavyweight champion of the world.
Good Lord.
He worked with
Sir, that's an honor.
York Barbell Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul was really a great guy. And
so for those that don't know, Paul Anderson's generally regarded, I guess, as the strongest man in modern history.
He did a squat. He could squat with over 1,000 pounds. I don't know exactly how much.
He did it like every day for a long time, just for show.
So for the record,
he was enormous.
Is this the 50s, sir? When was Paul on his peak? I can't remember the exact time.
Let me think a minute. Yeah, I think it was more in the 60s. It was after the Korean War.
Paul, he was rumored to have squatted a close like 1,100. I mean, the conditions are. It's hard to say, depth and all this stuff, but he could put it on his back. He could do amazing feats of strength. The back lift was my favorite one he used to do. He lifted up like a whole audience on his back.
He was, first of all, he couldn't. His legs were so big he couldn't go down below parallel. It was impossible. So he could just barely squat down to parallel. He could do a push press with over 500 pounds, maybe like 500. I don't remember the exact numbers, but he used to just a slight dip, and he used to push it over his head.
Yeah, this is the days when Olympic weightlifters were some of the best. They were the best pressers in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the only thing about Paul is that he used to use Knox gelatin as a protein supplement, and that's not really a good thing to do.
What is that stuff?
Knox gelatin. They make when you go to the
you make Jello out of it.
Make Jello out of it, and that, I think that.
It was funny. My wife just
what was in it?
It was
gelatin.
It was made from the bones of diseased animals and all kinds of stuff. It really wasn't a good idea.
It's collagen, basically?
Collagen based. And a box cost maybe in those days, 15 cents, I guess, So he ended up a sick guy.
What's that in today's
He ended up getting sick from it? Is that what you said?
Huh?
He ended up getting sick? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he ended up with very bad diabetes, and he didn't look to be a ripe old age.
Is that from the gelatin or just because he was an enormous guy?
I think the gelatin had something to do with him getting sick, and then, of course, he was, I forget what he weighed, about 340 pounds. He developed diabetes,
And it wasn't like they were watching their, other levels of vitamin D or omega fatty acids at this point. They're just eating whatever they could find, and then live a hard life.
In those days, what people did was, there was nothing to sit down and eat a couple dozen eggs and eat 10 hamburgers and a bunch of French fries and drink everything, go out and drink a quart of beer, and they ate everything just to pack on the muscle, And there were some strong guys.
They drank beer for recovery?
Yeah, they did. a lot of guys.
We've experimented with this method, Doctor, and it can be quite beneficial sometimes.
Yeah,
when you're in your 20s, maybe.
I know what you're saying.
So legend has it, speaking of digging holes in the ground, that Paul would...
Listen, what we got to remember here
Never mind.
is what's optimal for strength and size, right, is not optimal for longevity. What's optimal for health, it might not be the most conducive thing to be a big guy, a strong guy. But you can be strong and, eat a very, very good diet. And you can be well built, too. So I think the answer is really for young guys today that want to have, massive builds. Is the middle of the road is to try to give up if you can give up the processed food, whatever you eat, most likely you're going to be a very healthy person, because what's killing people today is the processed food. Processed food is absolutely a modern-day curse.